You're listening to CDKL5 in color. I'm Marissa, and on this podcast, I'm joined by my co-host Amanda, and sometimes some very special guests to talk all things CDKL5 deficiency disorder. It's a rare genetic condition caused by changes in the CDKL5 gene. Patients with this condition often experience profound developmental disabilities, difficult to control seizures that start in infancy, cortical visual impairment, and a variety of other health concerns. It's a challenging condition, but we know that by sharing our stories, we can raise awareness, provide support, and paint pictures of our community that can lead to greater understanding and meaningful change for families like ours. Let's jump right in. Hi, Amanda.
Hey, Marissa. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. It's been a long time.
I know. We're back after our summer hiatus. It was nice to take a break, though, I think.
Yes, I agree. It was nice to just have some time to be and do and not worry about meeting deadlines that we self-impose on.
Yeah, I was going to say self-imposed deadlines.
Still nice to just, exist. I haven't really actually done that in a long time over the summer. So it was nice.
And summer's so tricky. It would have been hard to maintain our momentum over the summer doing the podcast and the increased childcare, frankly, that comes with summer vacation. A lot more falls back on us with our kids without the respite of school and the other things that are normally in place during the school year. So I want to talk about that a little bit because we're back. So let's do a recap of summer. I thought we could do 2 successes and 2 challenges that we each faced this summer. You want me to go first?
Sure.
All right. One big success is we actually made it to the beach. We actually made it to the beach this summer more than once. Last summer, I think I really was depressed at the end of the summer last summer. We had a lot of work going on in the outside of our house, which kind of trapped us inside, but I also sort of just felt trapped. I didn't have help last summer. And Gregory is just too big for me to take him places like the beach by myself now. So this summer, which is my second success, is we finally had nursing support at home a little bit. Not full time. It was a big thing. It's so funny. So I had to find this person myself because I needed Thursdays and Fridays. And it's hard for the agency to find that. So I found this person on my own. She was already affiliated with the agency, which made it smooth. After 2 weeks, she told the agency she couldn't do Thursdays. It was just too much in her schedule. So she only did Fridays for the rest of the summer, which was a bummer, especially because a couple of Fridays were cool in the lower 70s. It's too cool to take him to the beach. But that's really why I wanted her. I wanted someone to help me get him out. So I feel like we got out a lot more this summer, certainly than we did last summer, but it was nice just to have the help. And you know what I realized? Not only having the help, but having somebody else to talk to. I've really been reflecting on this the past few days. I spend so much time with my son who doesn't talk to me, who doesn't even babble at me, respond really to me, that taking him out by myself, I spend the whole time talking alone, narrating things for him. Oh, now we're seeing this. Oh, look at this. Oh, how are you doing? Are you having a good time? But I never get much back at all. And it's very lonely. And I don't think I realized how lonely and how much of I don't want to say a barrier, but how much that makes me not want to get out if it's just the 2 of us. But having that other adult there made the experience just so much more fun. Just so much more fun for me because you had somebody else to talk to.
Yeah.
And I'm still talking to him, but I have somebody else to talk to too. And she's talking to him. And it was just...
He's in on it with all of it, right? It's a whole conversation.
It made the whole thing so much more fun.
It's true. Caretaking is isolating.
I didn't realize I felt like that until I saw how it could be.
Yeah.
And even, we were lucky this summer. Another success is we had overnight nursing for 4 weeks this summer, which just ended. And I'll talk about that in a second because that has been a challenge. When the night nurse, this was our first time with an overnight nurse, when she started, I still got up throughout the night to help her and say, oh, this is what I would do. And, to make sure everything was going well and whatever. Yeah, a little training. And I was telling my husband about it and I actually started crying. Maybe all of this makes me think I probably should get into therapy. We've mentioned many times, but I caught myself tearing up saying to him, having somebody else to talk to in the middle of the night when I'm in there doing stuff made it so much better. I guess I didn't really realize how lonely I feel a lot of the time. It just made me realize how much I like having somebody else there. I think because I'm really an extroverted person, I feel energized being around other people and talking to other people. And I think I feel really drained when I'm on my own. So I need to consider how I can take that information about myself and maybe make some changes
Yeah.
to what I'm doing.
You have an MSW, the most jaded thing about this is giving my career up, and I've found different ways to interact and do things and carry on, but I still miss work. I always say that I miss leaving my house. And even if I didn't live this life, I don't think I'm a work at home person. I think maybe a little balance of it, but I need to be around people. I need to have relationships with people, in different capacities in my life, I guess is what I'm trying to say. It's isolating and lonely. It's not something most of us identify as a gift. If anybody on the outside ever thinks, well, you get to be at home all the time, that's not a gift. We have no agency or autonomy, and it's isolating, and it's not a choice. I think that's part of it too. We didn't choose it, right? We didn't choose to not be able to work in some capacity.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. So those are my successes. We got to the beach and we actually had some in-home support, which I've never had before, and it was fabulous. The challenge is Gregory's seizures were crazy to start the summer. They were so crazy to start the summer. Actually, toward the end of the school year into the start of the summer, it was nuts. He's on 2 seizure medicines. We tried to make a change to 1. It totally backfired with additional side effects. It was a nightmare. Went back down on that, increased another one, and had success. And he's been seizure free since we got in a good spot with that second change. So it won't last. We've had this happen before, but the respite is really nice from seizures. Yeah. It's really nice. He's been much more active without having the seizures. Wild, moving crazy. He's got bruises all over himself
from moving so much.
Moving and crashing into things. And, and we have this cart that I can't take his wheelchair on the sand to the beach. So I lay him in this cart and drag him down the sand. And when he feels himself not secure in space, he gets kind of crazy with his body, and his knees were just crashing into the side of the cart constantly. He's on the outside of his legs have all these bruises. I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to send him back to school. They're going to be like, what is going on? This kid. Well, seizures were definitely a challenge, but we're in a better spot now. And then the other challenge has been the loss of the overnight nursing. It was very sudden. The nursing agency called me and they sort of said the nurse found an opportunity closer to home. But when I spoke to the nurse, it really seems more like the agency had a needy thing and they like her and she's been with them a long time. So I think they took her and it was closer to home. So she said yes. So, they're trying to find me a new person. They had scheduled a meet and greet with someone and she didn't show. So I'm like, well, that's not a good fit if she's not going to show. She had like a childcare issue, I guess, but I can't really deal with that. I'm also nervous about somebody who has small kids at home. How often are they going to be out? What sicknesses will they bring into my house? The night before, it was her last night, I woke up a bunch, in panicked, sweats, thinking about her not being here. And then I sort of got it together and was like, it'll be all right.
So in Colorado, it's really hard to get nursing care in home. Priority goes to kids with trachs, kids that really need a nurse doing things before they would come into a house like mine. But we do have respite and different options. We can try to hire people in to help us, whether it's overnight or in the day. It's always been on me to find a person, and then you get them to the agency. And if the agency mistreats them or something, you have no control over that. So I feel you. I hope that just good vibes that a nurse comes your way soon.
What about your summer? Successes, challenges?
Well, Ava actually started transition last year. It was her first year out of high school and in the transition program, preparing her for a day program. I had not taken Ava out in the community much because she was busy with transition, and then we do therapies and medical stuff, and we just don't have time for it. So the summer, since I didn't have her in any programming and I didn't have my act together to have any help in the house, Ava was my sidekick. And so shopping errands, whatever I had to do or wherever I had to be, Ava was with me. And her behaviors were a lot better in public than they used to be. And that is one reason I don't take Ava places, is because when she gets upset, she vocal stims, she gets, it's just like, it's a lot. So that went actually very well. And I had to give props to our transition people. I'm like, I kind of didn't have high expectations for transition to help with anything, but I do see Ava blossoming into her adult life. Hopefully there's sustained funding for her to go on to a day program next year, but that's a whole nother podcast. So that was good. We go to Target, we go to CVS inside of a Target close to us to pick up her meds. It's just the closest place that has the meds we need, that carries things like midazolam. So we would go and pick up her meds or stop in at the grocery store, and, reminded me that a lot of people actually enjoy seeing and interacting with someone like Ava in public as well. So that kind of just like rejuvenated me into like, just do it, just get out, just go do something that is mundane everyday stuff in a store, and don't wait until she's with someone else to get that done. So that's a big win. Also, Ava wrapped up some observational studies this summer. So I think if things go our way, we're done doing observational EEGs for a while, and things that are just not fun that we've been doing every 3 to 6 months for years now. I think for Ava, drug trial we just wrapped up, and that's been almost 7 years. So we're kind of like wrapping up about 7 years of interventional and observational research. And I'm so relieved, and I didn't realize how much of a burden filling out a Vineland for 15 different people, and all of these things that we were doing in these studies really are time suckers, and it was a lot. And I'm glad we completed it, and I don't regret it, but I also just room to breathe and not be thinking about that kind of stuff has been very nice.
Yeah. Glad you did it, but glad it's over.
Yep, exactly. And I'll think twice again before, I will be a lot more choosy about, I used to just put her in everything, and there's getting to be enough people out there to research that I am starting to just consider, like, do they really need our stuff? They've got plenty of research on Ava. So anyhow, that stuff was all positive and good. So challenges are, though, no programming, no real help. My mom comes out and helps me. But, it's just mundane. Everybody, right on down to my dogs, need some kind of consistent day or something consistent. And it's just chaos in an unorganized way, right? Like, that is hard on me, and it's definitely ripples out to everyone in the house. So a little structure is something I need to prioritize more when I get into these places where she's not in programming, because normally when she's in these programming is when I, build my structure out for when she is around or not. So I always feel scattered and stressed, and it's long, but it's short too. Summer, it's like, also it's summer and it's hot, and Ava does not love the heat, and Ava is too big for me to get into a pool or anything like that anymore. We have a nice YMCA facility here that's pretty new, and it's got like, it's got the seat I could drop her in. It's got all kinds of stuff, but she's 110 pounds. She's as tall as me. I am not a strong swimmer, and I do not feel comfortable with her in water. So we spend a lot of time inside, or going outside and maybe running some stuff into like a kid pool size thing or something for her to sit next to and splash around or put her feet in or whatever. But we get out far more in the snow in the winter, even on walks around the neighborhood and things when the weather's not quite so hot. So good things are we were able to get out to stores that are air conditioned with a lot more ease, but also just we're happy everybody is on their way back to a good structured year. I can breathe a little bit and get back to doing some things that I enjoy doing, working on some CDKL5 and color stuff, doing those kinds of things.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But it was nice to not have the stress of doing CDKL5 work all summer. That's not been, that's never been an option for, the last decade. So it was really good to, be carefree in that sense.
Absolutely. It's so funny what you say about people liking seeing our kids out in the community when they're behaving. We had to go to Home Depot, my husband and I. We brought Gregory with us on Saturday down to the Home Depot, and the Home Depot guy who was helping us get something down off the shelf addressed him right away, made some jokes with him about, was he coming to relieve him? He needed help in the work. Was he coming to work? And it was just really nice. It is fun when people come up to you and interact with your kid and act
It's
a little
gotten better in the
goofy.
20
And
years. I
yeah,
think society in the States is coming around and getting better about embracing them, just
yeah.
including them. And that's fun. And Home Depot, like, what did he think of that?
He didn't have too much of a reaction about it. I think, I think he's interested whenever we go places.
Right.
It smells kind of neat in there, and the sounds echo a little bit in there. So it's
It's
kind of a neat
big.
place.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. He's a bigger hit with the adults than with the kids. There's an accessible playground in the next town over. And even in some other areas where I've taken him out this summer, some kids just ignore him, and some kids just are fascinated with
They don't
him and
know.
they just stare him
That's
down.
right.
They are fascinated to see him. So, yeah, with the adults, it's been pretty fun.
Well,
All right. So, we have something fun that we've been working on that's coming up with the American Society of Gene and Cell Therapy, ASGCT. So they reached out to us about collaborating on some gene therapy education for our community. So for those of you who aren't familiar, I'm going to link their website in the show notes. But the American Society of Gene and Cell Therapy informs professionals and patient communities and the public of scientific discoveries and medical advances in cell and gene therapy. They empower researchers and advance research programs leading to the discovery and improvement of clinical applications for gene and cell therapies. And they also educate researchers, patients, and caregivers and other stakeholders, as well as advocate with lawmakers and policymakers and others in an effort to advance the science and application of cell and gene therapy and maximize access. So when they reached out to collaborate, we really jumped on that because we know gene therapy is a topic people always want to learn more about. So we are putting together a podcast episode or possibly a series of episodes on the topic. And we really need some help from our community to make it the best that it can be. So in the show notes, you'll find a link. It's also on our website to a short quiz that we would love as many people to take as possible. Your score doesn't matter, but the information that we learn from the responses will help us to shape the educational content we're developing with ASGCT. And what do you want to add, Amanda? Anything you want to add to that?
I'm excited to podcast about this. I've been working in the background. I did some work with a global effort to kind of think about how we could be better educating patient communities about gene and cell therapies, and what does it mean to be developing disease modifying treatments, and how much more work do we need to do before we get to cures or being able to dose multiple times, or just we're on the cusp of such exciting technology and science discovery that it's kind of hard sometimes to keep up, even with helping your communities and peers keep up with the changes that happen in the space. So I'm excited to talk about it. And I'm also excited kind of to get the community thinking about the resources that ASGCT has and other people, including us, and continuing the conversation and really diving in a little bit more. It's a big topic. So there's a lot of nuance and you can't cover it all in one session. It really needs to be done in little bits and pieces. So to understand, like, what does the community want to know more about? And maybe what don't you care about? It'll be exciting to.
Yeah.
And we're kind of using a new tool. This quiz is like, I don't know. Normally in the past, you and I have experience with like surveys.
Yeah.
More like just mundane surveys. And we try to make this a little more interactive. So don't take it too seriously. And once you answer the question, you get to the end and you're going to be able to see all of the answers and a little bit more of an explanation. Hopefully, when you take this quiz, you learn a little bit as well about just some basic drug development and gene and cell therapy concepts.
Mm-hmm.
And two, it's not just gene therapies. There are cell therapies, enzyme replacement, exon activation. There's a few different types of therapies that are in the pipeline for CDKL5 that I think it's good for people to start understanding more.
It's a topic that everybody always wants updates on. They always want to know the latest. It's something that people talk about all the time, a cure for CDKL5. But what does it really mean? And what are the options? And where are we in the process? And, you see news articles of this kid was dosed with gene therapy and this gene therapy. And what does that mean for us? And understanding.
Well, and oftentimes gene therapy is going to come with other therapies to make it successful, right? So I think this idea of being one and done or only needing a gene replacement therapy is pretty, think we're starting to understand more and more that there's durability issues to where it does wear off, and we need to do and think about things, for the next 20 and 30 years, not just the next 5 to 10. So please just, let us know what you want to know more about, and we'll do our best to get you hooked into some knowledge about that.
Yeah, please take the time. It should only take maybe 10 minutes
I would
to
say.
take the quiz. It's not that long. And let's see if we can get as many people to take it as possible. I would love for 50 people to take it. We'll see. If we can get 50 people to take it.
I'd like to see 100 people take it, so I'll double you.
All right, we'll see. And there's a prize. So
Yeah.
if you take the quiz by September 30th, you will be entered to win a $25 Amazon gift certificate. So that's a little incentive for you. The link to take it is in the show notes. And it's also on our website. And I don't know what else to say about it.
We need your email to put you in the drawing. But aside from that, like, none of your answers, we're not going to identify you or share your answers or anything like that. So just don't take it too serious. Take it as serious as you want, but it's okay.
It's graded, but it's not graded.
It's graded, but not graded. Yes. And some of you out there I know are your rule followers and you want to get it right. So it's all right, no matter what.
All right. Very good. So I'm so happy that we're back. The next episode after this one is a CDKL5 mom interview with her adult daughter, which I think everyone will get a kick out of. And we'll go from there. We got more people to interview, more chats to have. And if there's something you want to hear us talk about or you want to come on the show, send us an email, cdkl5incolor@gmail.com. You can message us through Facebook, Instagram. We're around. LinkedIn, yes.
And it's not just patient caretakers. There's a lot of conversations to be had. So if you're in science or industry or anything like that and think you need to send a message to the community, chat about that.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks, Amanda.
It was so good to see you.
You too. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening. We hope you'll follow us on social media at CDKL5incolor on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn, and visit us online at www.cdkl5incolor.com. Have questions or a topic you'd like us to chat about? Would you like to be a guest on our podcast? Email us, cdkl5incolor@gmail.com, and we'll be in touch. Until next time.